So we started discussing intonation, but let's go one step deeper into it. Let me ask you, can you imagine a beautiful sound with a poor intonation? I would say no. It's not possible. A beautiful sound is a well-in-tune sound. It has to go together. If you think of, let's say, a violin player, when he starts at a very early age, 6, 5, 4 even, they learn to put the finger on the string in the right position. This is part of learning the note. When we are learning what's an A, this is an A. No. This is just the fingering of A, but it could be. Are all A? No. So I would say from the beginning, if a teacher is watching this, please, from as early as possible, awareness to intonation. Of course, a precondition is to hear well, but if we don't demand it from our students or pupils or ourselves, we will not get it, because we all hear. The question whether it's too high or too low maybe takes a little longer, a little later, but it's a mind thing. We all hear that it's out of tune. If we don't know if it's too high or too low, we can experiment. If I think it's too low, I go higher. If it's better, good. If it's worse, I know I did a mistake. With the time, it will come. It will come. So the main thing, and this might get a bit more complicated, but take your time to understand about intonation, about the way we use the air, is to separate the quantity of air and the speed of air. Some people mix it up. Let me give you an example and then we go back to it. Imagine that you are in the garden and you want to water the flowers. You have the tube and you open the water, and from the moment you open the water, you don't change the quantity of the water that is coming out. And now you want to water. First you have the plants that are near you, so it's fine. And then you want to reach further with the water without changing the quantity. What do? You press a little bit, meaning that the speed is higher, or the pressure, but the quantity stays the same. Back to the air. This opening is the dynamic. I can open to a mezzo forte, or to a forte, or to a fortissimo, whatever dynamic I want to play. And in order to change the speed, I change the aperture, I change the opening for the air. When it's narrower, it will go faster. When it's broader, it will go slower. I can do it with my lips. I can do it inside the mouth with the tongue, actually, a little bit in the throat. This is something, first of all, to understand, and then to practice. So I will give you a very simple exercise just to see that you understand the difference and your body can react to it. Let's take a note. You can choose whatever note you want. I will take an A in the first octave in an easy dynamic, let's say mezzo forte. And now, in order to have the same quantity of air, I always have to give the same quantity of air and the same support without changing it. And now the exercise would be jumping an octave without changing the air quantity or without changing the dynamics. I will show you the mistake. The beginner flutists tend to do it a lot. In order to jump an octave, they must play louder. For a beginner, it's okay. When we are advanced, we have to understand that we can change the register without changing the quantity. So the changing happens elsewhere. It's a combination. As we said before, the components are cooperating. It's mainly the lips, but not only the lips. We can change the tongue position to change the aperture inside the mouth, maybe a little bit the throat, careful. Okay, so quantity versus speed will be the main component when you are thinking about intonation. Okay, so this would be a basic exercise. I'm not saying easy exercise, but a basic exercise. The more advanced players, of course, you can do it. So let's go one step or two steps further and ask ourselves, what happens then in crescendo? Or what happens then in diminuendo? When we crescendo, we are playing louder, meaning we are using more air, okay? If I just use more air and don't do anything else, this would happen. What happened is that with the air quantity, the speed of air also went up, and then intonation went up, and this we don't want. So in other words, when we crescendo, we want to open up at the same time. Open up where? Wherever we can. The tongue down, the jaw down, the throat opens up in order to keep the airspeed the same. Okay, so I try to play a better crescendo. Okay, hopefully it was more stable now, the intonation. Diminuendo would do the same thing, just opposite. So we start with the more open position. Don't try to play and talk at the same time. It's not so easy. So basically, I will show you this or this or this. We did the sign for crescendo. So use this sign to remind yourself to open up. Crescendo, open up. Diminuendo, close down. When this will remind you, then you change accordingly, and of course, your best judge is your ears. Good luck.